Abuja, Nigeria, the killing of Abu Bilal al-Manuki, the second in command of ISIL, by United States and Nigerian forces marks a notable achievement for counter-terrorism. Yet for analysts observing the Lake Chad Basin, it highlights how persistent and complex insecurity in the region has become. Al-Manuki, a Nigerian national from Borno State, that was operating out of a compound near Lake Chad at the centre of one of the world's most active armed group theatres. The line is crackly, but the voice of Merab Abdolazadeh is clear. And given the circumstances, surprisingly steady. He's on death row in western Iran. He speaks quickly, as if time is running out, and his message is desperate.
The United Arab Emirates said a drone strike had triggered a fire near its nuclear power station on Sunday, calling the incident a dangerous escalation. Officials are investigating the source of the strike. The country's defense ministry said 3 drones had entered the UAE from the western border direction.
US President Donald Trump has warned Iran the clock is ticking as talks to bring the war to an end have stalled. They better get moving fast or there won't be anything left of them, he wrote on his Truth social platform. Time is of the essence. For the past 3 decades, China has been a nation of homeowners, supercharging the world's second largest economy and fulfilling the dreams of millions. Since the decline and eventual end of a welfare housing policy in the 1990s, government planning has coalesced with deep-seated cultural norms to create a level of private ownership unfathomable in the West.
The administration of United States President Donald Trump has hosted a 9-hour prayer event on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. as part of its efforts to commemorate the country's 250th anniversary. Sunday's event was called Rededicate 250, a national jubilee of prayer, praise and thanksgiving, and it took place from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, 13 to 22 GMT. A series of Israeli air attacks on southern and eastern Lebanon has killed at least 5 people and injured more than a dozen, according to the health ministry. Despite Israel agreeing to a ceasefire extension with Hezbollah, the attacks on Sunday included the municipalities of Tyre Felseh, Tyre Deba, Az Zariah and Jebchit.
United States President Donald Trump has reiterated his threats against Iran as negotiations to end the conflict between the two countries continue to flounder. In a Sunday morning post on his platform Truth Social, Trump warned that time was running short before a fresh wave of U.S. military action might be launched. Privacy will be a major theme when Apple unveils a new version of Siri at the Worldwide Developers Conference in June, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. The Siri relaunch is widely seen as Apple's big chance to re-establish its relevance in artificial intelligence. As part of that effort, company executives will argue that they're taking a more privacy-friendly approach than most other AI companies, Gurman said.
The government in the Mexican state of Puebla has confirmed the deaths of 10 people in an early morning shooting in the city of Tehuitzingo. On Sunday, the state government identified the victims as 6 men, 3 women and a minor, though no names were offered.
It's a global health crisis, not a pandemic, but the World Health Organization is warning that the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and neighboring Uganda could be much larger than what has been detected so far.
Lawyers for Elon Musk and OpenAI made their closing arguments this week, and now it's up to jurors to decide whether OpenAI did anything wrong as it's transformed into a slightly more for-profit organisation. But as Kirsten Korosek, Sean O'Kane, and I noted on the latest episode of TechCrunch's Equity podcast, a big theme in the trial's final days was whether OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is trustworthy. For example, Musk's attorney, Steve Molo, grilled Altman about whether statements he'd made during congressional testimony were truthful.
Peruvian election authorities have confirmed that right-wing candidate Keiko Fujimori will face off against the left-wing Congress member Roberto Sanchez in the country's presidential runoff. Following a chaotic first round of voting, Peru's National Jury of Election on Sunday confirmed the results of the 17% of the vote, with Fujimori taking first place with 17% of the vote. She was followed by Sanchez with 12%.
Quetta. The Balochistan government on Sunday imposed Section 144 across the province for a month. In a notification available with Dawn, the provincial government imposed a complete ban on gatherings of 5 or more than 5 persons, including sit-ins, processions or rallies throughout the province for 30 days, effective immediately.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has termed Pakistan's emergence as a key mediator between the US and Iran as a shining moment in our history, crediting the political-military partnership for the change in the country's image internationally. The Premier made these remarks during an interview with the Sunday Times as Islamabad remained engaged in efforts for de-escalation between the US and Iran.
Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and President Sergio Mattarella have visited victims of car ramming and stabbing attacks on the main shopping street of the northern city of Modena at about 4:30 p.m. local time, 14:30 GMT on Saturday. A 31-year-old man identified as Salim El Kudri drove at high speed through the city centre, hitting more than a dozen people.
A prosecutor in France has revealed that about 10 new suspected victims have come forward in the European country's probe into the network of late US sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Speaking with the RTL broadcaster, Paris public prosecutor Laura Beckwach said on Sunday that about 20 suspected victims had made themselves known after she, in February, urged potential victims to speak up.
Pakistan expressed on Sunday utmost satisfaction over a supplemental award by the Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, that it said affirmed Islamabad's position of the Indus Waters Treaty, placing substantive limits on India's water control capability on Indus River system's western rivers. The decision pertained to maximum pondage, a technical term for the maximum volume of water that could be stored in a reservoir. In Indus Waters Treaty proceedings arising from design disputes concerning the Ratley hydroelectric plant and the Kishanganga hydroelectric project in occupied Kashmir, a statement issued by the Pakistan government said. Israeli attacks across the Gaza Strip have killed at least 5 Palestinians, including 3 in Deir el-Balah and others in Khan Yunis and Beit Lahia. Sunday's attack on the central city of Deir el-Balah targeted a community kitchen, and all 3 victims were charity workers, according to Al Jazeera's Hind Qudri, reporting from Gaza City.
Commencement season has come around again. And this year, at least a couple speakers have discovered that it's tough to get graduating students excited about a future shaped by artificial intelligence. Last week, Gloria Keelfield, an executive at real estate firm Tavistock Development Company, gave a speech at the University of Central Florida, acknowledging that we're living in a time of profound change, which can be both exciting and daunting.
The Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, in The Hague has reaffirmed that the Indus Waters Treaty, IVWT, remains fully in force and cannot be put on hold or terminated by either Pakistan or India acting alone. In its latest decision, the tribunal upheld its earlier findings on the treaty's validity, stressing that the legal regime governing the Indus River system continues to apply to both countries.
A new US immigration rule taking effect will sharply raise the stakes for signature mistakes on H-1B and green card paperwork, potentially costing applicants thousands of data. The US Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, has formalized new powers to request to reject or deny immigration benefit requesters, and in many cases, keep the filing fees even when an application is refused. The District Administration of Islamabad has enforced fixed entry fees at all cattle markets ahead of Eid al-Adha, setting the rate at 4,000 for large animals and 3,000 for small animals. Officials said strict action is being taken against anyone traders more than the approved amount, while one person has already been arrested for overcharging a livestock seller. One of 4 Canadians who returned home from a cruise ship where there was a hantavirus outbreak received a presumptive positive test result for the virus. Canadian officials said Saturday. Results from the National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg to confirm the case are expected to come over the weekend, said Dr. Bonnie Henry, the public health officer for the province of British Columbia.
8 years after hearing their national anthem on football's grandest stage for the first time, Panama will have the chance to relive that surge of national pride at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Having navigated a challenging qualification campaign, they return to the tournament as Central America's highest-ranked side, ready to test themselves against some of the world's best nations.
Taiwan's president says the island will not be pressured into giving up its democracy and sovereignty, days after the self-governing territory was one of the main points of discussion between China and the US. Taiwan will not provoke or escalate conflict, but it will also not relinquish its national sovereignty and dignity, or its democratic and free way of life, under pressure. William Lai Ching-te posted on social media on Sunday. New York City, USA, like clockwork each May, soon-to-be college graduates drift into New York City's Washington Square Park in caps and gowns, typically in purple, the school color of nearby New York University. A sea of mostly 20-somethings gather for photographs that mark the moment when the predictability of collegiate life comes to a close and new graduates face the uncertainty of what's next. Julie Pehel, who just finished a master's degree in public health, was one of those graduates. But a tight job market has dampened the joy of the graduation ceremony.
Welcome back to TechCrunch Mobility, your central hub for news and insights on the future of transportation. To get this in your inbox, sign up here for free. Just click TechCrunch Mobility. There is a bit of a theme emerging in transportation and really every industry. AI is creating jobs for some at the loss of others.
The first day of Zilhajj will be observed on Monday, the 18th of May 2026. The Central Ru'ati Hilal Committee announced a short while ago. This has further confirmed that Eid al-Adha will be observed in Pakistan on Wednesday, 10 Zilhajj 1447 AH, i.e. 27th May 2026. The capital city has launched the Women Enterprise Market in G11. M&A and Parliamentary Secretary Farah Naz Akbar inaugurated the facility in a ceremony that was organised by the Islamabad Women Chamber of Commerce and Industry in partnership with the Capital Development Authority, Metropolitan Corporation Islamabad and JazzCash. The Marketplace initiative responds to stark gender disparities in Pakistan's business sector, where women constitute only 1% of entrepreneurs compared to 21% for men. The facility operates entirely on cashless transactions, designed to integrate female business owners into formal financial systems and enhance their digital literacy.